This is the Impulsive Thinker Podcast, a show for high-achieving ADHD entrepreneurs. Together, we will inform and educate you about how to improve your self-awareness while developing systems, routines, and habits for conquering the entrepreneurial world. Here is your host, André Brisson.
Hey there, this is André Brisson. Welcome to the first short of the Impulsive Thinker Podcast. I think I'll aptly call this one called Scared to Hit Record. I've been thinking about this podcast for a long time. As a high-achieving entrepreneur with ADHD and Asperger's and gifted, I've learned a lot over the last 3 years since my diagnosis. I've learned a lot. I've helped quite a few people, and I know I can help more. When I came about this idea with Impulsive Thinker Podcast to help high-achieving entrepreneurs with ADHD, I've been scared to push this idea through. I keep talking myself out of it. There's always a reason, people better than me who would want to listen to me. I always come back to that point. What am I going to talk about? But I always come back to, I know I can help people. So I've been staring at my phone here for a good 20 minutes, staring at the record button, not knowing what to say or how to say it. So I figure I might as well start off with one of my biggest challenges as a kid, teenager, adult with a full-time job and an entrepreneur is getting that self-esteem and confidence to do what I know is right. And I know what I know, but at the same time as I'm my own worst critic. No one could ever tell me anything worse. No one can tell anything to me what I can't say worse to me. So this constant fear of trying new things, especially when you know it'll make a difference, it'll work. You're almost afraid of succeeding. But why would we succeed? What makes me better than others? What my unique ability, my skills am better to someone better? So what's the point? We always talk ourselves out of it. That ADHD, man, it could really kill you. Kill great ideas, walk away from great opportunities. All because of what I tell myself. I always seem to tell that to myself first before someone tells me. So maybe I try to jump the gun before someone else tells me it's not a good idea, or for someone else to dissolve an idea I have. I want to do it before. It's easier to take it from me than someone else. My plan is with this podcast is to share my experiences of successes and trials and tribulations with the undiagnosed ADHD. I was undiagnosed for 44 years, diagnosed with severe ADHD and mild Asperger's about 4 years ago. And everything I did in the past, I overcame my undiagnosed symptoms by creating my own systems and routines. I've succeeded. I've got successful companies. I still don't feel like I'm successful. I'm financially sound. I've made a lot of financial bad decisions, impulsivity taken over, but I'm still in a good spot. I don't feel I've succeeded. Ever since my diagnosis, I've seen that change a lot. My perception is slowly changing, but still tough. It's still tough. So what I'm hoping with this podcast is I can help people understand that other people have gone through it. And then the systems and routines or things that I've figured out over the last couple of years can help you understand your ADHD, your skill sets, your strengths, and identify your weaknesses so you can work around that and then hyper-focus on life rather than work. Just because you're successful doesn't mean you don't have ADHD. It just means that success is a lot harder to come by internally, emotionally. I bet you the majority of the people here are very successful, but they don't see themselves as successful, even if other people tell them they are successful. We always downplay it. We always say whatever. We can always do better. We can always do better. It's never enough. And our hyper-focus takes care of everything, oversees, overrides. We lose out on life. We lose out on our kids, we lose out on our spouses. Funny thing is, once I finally hit record, I thought it'd be a hard time to get 5 minutes out, but it seems to be I just hit the 5-minute mark. So being afraid to hit record, as we always find out later, it's not as bad as it seems. We just got to take that first step. Well, us with ADHD, that first step is the toughest, especially when we know it can make the biggest difference. Especially when we're comparing ourselves to other people that are more successful or appears to be more successful. So I guess in the end, fear is a tough thing. ADHD really seems to ramp up that fear. Since our brains and our minds won't stop, It always comes about and just reinforces what we think. Negative ruminations. It's a tough habit to break, but we got to recognize that and come out of it. Write down all the negatives and then figure out what the positives are to overcome it. Well, I feel better now that I hit record. I think it'll be easier from now on. And I hope that you subscribe to this podcast and you can share with other people that you know who live with ADHD, especially high achieving entrepreneurs. As we've always been told, you can't be successful and have ADHD. Well, you can't be successful at ADHD. It's just we got our own struggles and challenges. It's not impossible. We do have a lot of struggles. Again, thank you for listening. And I'm glad I hit record. I've always been told the first episode's always going to be your worst. I don't think it's that bad. But here's to more. I'm going to have a lot of good interviews and discussions with a lot of smart people who can help us understand ourselves and expand our abilities and enjoy ourselves and succeed. Because the more we achieve, the happier we should be getting. And I want to change that for you. So hit subscribe. Later on, I hope to do some daily shorts and some weekly interviews. We'll talk to you again. This is André from the Impulsive Thinker.
Thank you for listening to the Impulsive Thinker Podcast. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion for the show, please visit theimpulsivethinker.com. The Impulsive Thinker Podcast is produced by Tactical Breakthroughs and hosted by André. Remember, ADHD is only a part of you, not all of you.